Forgot about my microphone. Congratulations, everybody. We have made it to a day where we are going to watch 6 World Cup games on the same day. Didn't know this would ever be possible as a child, but I didn't realize that my dream could possibly come true. On this day, we will start deciding who is headed to the knockout rounds of the 2026 World Cup. And to do so, who else would I rather be here with to hang out and chat with than my squad? I've got Michele Giannone alongside me, and I've got Jordan Angeli with us once again as we prepare you for the final round of group stage games. The World Cup has been going on for 1,227 days, and we've eliminated 4 of the 48 teams so far. We will only eliminate 12 more over the next...
not that many, right?
Yeah, over the next few days. But this is what we live for. Michele, and you're back with us.
I'm great. And people, don't lie. Don't lie to people. You're not going to watch 6 games because there are some that are going to be the same. We're going to watch a lot. No, I'm just messing with you. Yeah. 4 has been a lot. I don't know how I'm going to deal with 6.
Honestly, by the start of game 3, I had to take a power nap. Because I was like, my brain is on overload. So 6, it might be better now that they're at the same time so you can have a dual screen.
Yes.
Yeah.
And this is one of those, I mean, we all are blooded in the MLS Match Night, NWSL Match Night life.
We can take it.
Many people have learned this from Champions League.
We have prepped ourselves for
MLS 360 has prepped
but the
for this
style
moment.
of watching these games, for anyone who's looking for advice, is not to get understanding of like what's going on the field. It's the vibes of like what's the moment, what's the energy, what's the flow. Because what will happen today and will happen over the next 5 days is there will be these moments where all of a sudden one team will score and now the other team is out. Now the other team has to push and then this team has to push. And those are like these delicious moments. It's why the group stage occurs at the same time because the shame of Gijón. Do you want to talk Gijón now? 1982 World Cup.
I guess.
Austria and Germany purposely played to a tie because they played after Algeria had played their final opponent. And they knew that if they drew, Germany would win the group and Austria would go through in second place. So if you are ever thinking that there's some sort of like controversy going on at the World Cup or some sort of shameful action, I have learned through research, it normally involves the Germans.
Okay. Great.
Which I don't know that people would expect. So everyone should lock in on the fact that the Germans are cheaters. And then there is always a little tweak or rule to overcome it. Now, because we are in a 48-team World Cup, there is going to, I think, to be some weird stuff that happens as well.
Hot.
Damn.
I'm always firing on Central Europe, so I'm fine with that. There might be some weird stuff that happens, which we're going to talk through. As you can see, if you're watching on the bottom of the screen, 3 match windows for 6 games today. So 3 p.m. Eastern time, we will have Group B finish off. Canada and Switzerland will be the headline match from that. Then we will have Group C at 6 p.m. Eastern time, Scotland against Brazil. In Miami, going to be the big one there. Get the sunscreens out because we are going to see some burnt Scottish fans who marched through my neighborhood yesterday to go to the Miami Marlins game. Yeah, took over Little Havana. Calle Ocho, my home and your former home.
Yes.
Michele doesn't want to talk about Miami. He does not like Miami, which I appreciate. And then we're going to finish out the night in Mexico. Mexico City hosting Mexico for the second time in this tournament. They now know they will at least play there for the round of 32. And if they were to win, they would move to the round of 16 all at the Azteca. And then South Africa will face off against South Korea in Monterrey, which I think has been one of the coolest venues at the World Cup so far. So that's the schedule for today. Normally we start our shows with our big 3 things, but because it's the final round of this group, I wanted us to go through a little bit about what's going to happen now so that we could all have some understanding of the chaos that's about to hit us in the face and reset where we stand. So we are into the final round of group stage games. As I said, every single group will play simultaneously going forward. So for the next 4 or 5 days, there'll be 3 match windows a day. Your first job is to get first or second in your group. If you do so, you automatically qualify for the next round. To do that, obviously the first tiebreaker is technically points. You need the better points to get through. If at that point 2 teams are tied, we go to head-to-head, which is why a team like Turkey who could get to 3 points and be tied with Australia and Paraguay is already eliminated, because if they were to do that, they would lose on the tiebreaker because they've lost to both those teams head to head. After that, we would go to goal differential. Then we would go to goals scored. Then we would go to fair play, which is yellow cards and red cards and things like that. And then eventually you would end up at FIFA rankings as a tiebreaker if it was necessary to go that far. So that is how each group will be decided. Your first job, as each of these teams right now, is to finish top 2. If you don't, now 8 of the 12 third place teams will go through to the next round of the World Cup. And that is going to throw a wrinkle in this that we've never experienced before on the men's side. On the women's side, we've seen it because there's 24-team World Cup, 24-team, not 2014. And therefore, you had third place teams going through. So 8 of the 12 groups, third place teams, will qualify for the next round. That, the first one, will be on points. There obviously is no head-to-head for that one. Then you go into goal differential, goal scored, fair play, and you finish on the FIFA rankings. So in theory, if you were a better team, FIFA rankings are fairly flawed. Coming into this tournament, you would have a better chance. So that's where, for the most part, points are going to be the most important thing to watch. Goal differential is secondary. Goal
because
differential
that changed this year, right? It went from, it used to be goal differential was the first
inside
tiebreaker.
Your group, yeah. But for third place, there is no head-to-head. So therefore, we're back into that situation. So we have 4 teams that are already eliminated. We will eliminate another 12 over the next few days, but it won't be maybe as many as we expect. And for the barrier and line that we're looking at, pretty much every group can have a team that falls at 3 points, 100%. And pretty much every group has a team that could be in third place at 4 points. So 4 points is your threshold to feel safe. But no team will know until in 2 days. So Bosnia, Qatar, Czech Republic, all these teams will play today. If they finish on 4 points, they'll feel pretty good, but they won't actually know. If you finish on 3, you're scoreboard watching, and anything below that is pretty dangerous. But one thing that's fascinating is you could finish on third place on 2 points, let's say, like in Iran. You could potentially get to the next round while teams in other groups are on 3 points, but they're in fourth place in their group, and therefore they can't jump you. So there's a scenario in which a Haiti or a Turkey picks up a win today. They finish on 3 points, eliminated, and a scenario in which an Iran, potentially even a Cape Verde, a Saudi Arabia, ends up on 2 or 3 points, and they make it to the next round. You guys excited?
Yeah, wow, that was a lot of information, and
Great
job. You did an excellent job. Once you found your microphone,
I didn't hear anything.
You really nailed it.
Well, my computer's about to die, so I had to get it through quickly.
Oh, great. It's complicated because we've never done this before. Like, this is the first time the World Cup has been in this format. So it is a lot of information, and we're all learning it on the fly, and it will be interesting. I think that last point that you had, where some of these teams will have had more points potentially in the group play than the teams that advance, which is kind of the fun of these types of tournaments where, you know, it gives you that underdog feeling in a different way. Like, you probably shouldn't have gone through, but now you have a chance to upset when it comes to knockout rounds.
One of the things that I think people will be very frustrated about, and we don't know how it will play out, and that's why I brought up the shame of Gijón already, because Austria are back in the news. Austria and Algeria will face off in a final game, both on 3 points. In that group, Jordan's already eliminated, and Argentina has already clinched first place. When they play, the winner would automatically clinch second place. If they draw, they'd both be on 4 points. Where it stands right now, Austria, I believe, on goal differential, would be second. Feels fairly safe to say Algeria will get through. If Algeria were to play to win and lose on 3 points, I think there's a pretty good chance they get through, but it's not as guaranteed.
Correct.
Are you worried at all about the quality of play that we see in games like that?
I am absolutely worried because it had happened before. Once in a Euro, I don't remember exactly the year, Italy got eliminated on group stage because Denmark and Sweden,
have to bring it in at some point.
Denmark and Sweden were playing on the other game, and it finished. The only result that eliminated Italy was if Denmark and Sweden tied 3-3. Guess what happened?
3-3.
and both advanced, and Hillary was out.
Wow.
So it had happened before, not at this level, but another caveat that you didn't mention is that if somebody wins this game and they advance as second place, who do they face on round of 32?
Spain?
Spain.
If Spain holds. If Spain gets first place.
I mean,
they drew Cape Verde.
Okay, but thinking with
logical thoughts.
With logical thoughts, thank you, Jordan, that Spain's going to be first in the group, neither Austria or Algeria are incentivized to win this game.
Well, so...
Especially when a 0-0 qualifies you both.
Well,
I promise you this game is going to end up 0-0.
Okay.
I
think
locked
they
it
qualify
in.
you both.
Well, right now...
They will have to see where it stands when they get there. But you have to see if 4 points locks you in.
I mean, 4 points locks you in.
There's not enough groups that are on 0 that's the case right now. So it would be open. Most likely, it would be open. So because there are 8 third-place teams that will go through, there are 16 matches in the round of 32. So 8 third-place teams play, I think, what we're calling lucky winners, which is you won your group, you play a third-place team. 8 second-place teams, which is the example you just talked about, will play a first-place team.
Yes.
So that sort of, and then there are, because of that, multiple second-place teams that play each other.
Yeah.
So that's where it sort of stands up for some groups, and it's already predetermined. As a second-place team, you play another second-place team. So the value there is, well, you actually would avoid a better opponent because if you fall third, you're guaranteed to play a first-place team, where some are 2 versus 2 seeds.
Yeah.
Then there also is the consideration of travel, which is if you look at the bracket as a team, okay, if we fall here, maybe we stay close to home. If we don't, we move away. Now, the confusion of all of this is like first-place teams that play third-place team, they won't know who they play until the end of the group stage. So, like, it's assumed because the way it's laid out is the U.S. clinched first place. They will play a third-place team from one of 5 potential groups. So it's like nothing is really decided for you. They will play the third-place team of Group B, E, F, I, or J. I have zero idea
who's in any
what
of
the
those
calculation. Well,
I mean,
because
just off the top of your head,
it doesn't say then. Okay, well, is it points order from there? Does someone play the better of the third place, the worst? So my assumption is, in looking through this, is the groups are chosen based off geography there, which is ideally you're keeping teams as close to where they're base camped, where their groups were as possible.
So you say out of one of the third place from one of those 5.
But how do you pick which one?
Yeah, I don't know.
Because multiple of them will qualify.
Yeah.
So that part we don't know. So it's assumed if Bosnia or Qatar wins and finish on 4, they will play in the group against the U.S. And I think that assumption is they're trying to keep Group B teams close to where they were already base camped. So
my
part of this is there's some unknown in where, like, what if you say, oh, I don't want to be second to play Spain, you finish third, and you get France or Argentina? So you just got to play. My point is you go out there to play. Herm Edwards, you play to win the game.
Right.
So that's part of the
There's
fear.
no benefit for them.
The other fear in this, so here's the other fear in all of this. The U.S. is in a different situation. Mexico has qualified. First place. They play Czech Republic, sitting on 1 point. Czech needs to win. Mexico has nothing to play for. Do you worry about the quality of game in those scenarios where Germany against Ecuador, Germany has nothing to play for. Argentina, luckily they play Jordan, Jordan's out. But do you worry about these big favorites who have already won not playing their best teams and that allowing these lesser teams to maybe steal 3 points?
Right. Well, I think that's all part of it, right? And in general, you're going to do what's best for your team in those situations. Like Mexico is going to, knowing that they've already qualified, they don't really caring, I don't think, about everybody else. If you start caring about everybody else, you kind of lose the plot.
Yeah.
And you have to stay focused on what is important for you for this Mexican team. Just because you brought up that example, like, how do you feel like you're getting everybody the best experience in this last game in order to perform best in that round of 32 games? So I think that should be their main thought. I go back to what you were saying about Algeria and Austria, and like, if it is a draw, things are interesting in that group. Who initiates that conversation is like, hey, you want to talk after training?
which in theory would be match fixing.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think match fixing just falls under any conversation about an attempt to control a result.
But sometimes you don't have to have the conversation.
Right, everyone knows.
Both teams know
Yeah.
that coming into the game, a tie benefit both.
It's gonna be
so
wild.
it's going to be logical of like, wink, wink, I'm not going to attack you. Wink, wink, don't attack me. Right? Because again, winning this game doesn't help me here. Benefit you for the round of 32, but losing it, you get eliminated.
Yeah, potentially.
Okay, but in right now as things stand, losing this game will get you eliminated.
Yeah.
I mean, so many teams have to lose for that not to happen. So both teams, the best result is a tie.
So what I would say is, where it stands, the groups that are probably most worrying for this scenario is Australia, Paraguay today. Both teams on 3 points. They cannot get first place. They can't fall to fourth.
Yeah.
So they're in one of those scenarios. We've already mentioned Algeria, Austria. Again, both teams cannot get to first place. They cannot fall to fourth.
Those games are all tomorrow?
Yes. No, Australia, Paraguay will be... yes, of course.
Yeah,
tomorrow. One of the other ones that's really interesting is Group F, where Netherlands sits on 4 points alongside Japan. Sweden sits on 3 points, and Tunisia has been eliminated. Sweden plays Japan. If they were to draw, Japan would move to 5 points. You assume that's second place if the Netherlands goes out and beats an eliminated Tunisia. And then Sweden will move to 4 points, which is fairly safe. But if you're Japan, you want to win the group.
Yeah.
So, they're sitting on the same goal differential because they both smoked their second opponents, Sweden and Tunisia. So that's going to be another one where it's like, how do they come out and play? What does it look like? You assume you're going to play a better team because for Japan, if they lose, they'd fall to third place. Now they'd be on 4 points. It's probably a fairly safe spot to be.
Yeah.
But those are the main...
I think that one is different for me because Japan wants to win first place.
Yeah.
So they're going to try to push, whereas if you're the Swedish team, you're going to say, okay, we can play for a draw. You know, that their outcomes can be different in that one for them both to be successful. But in general, I am just hopeful that like these teams have the mindset of you're going into a knockout stage game.
This is big.
You want to feel like you're your best selves, like that upward trajectory, and getting a 0-0 draw is never going to help that situation going into knockouts. And in my opinion, but it might get you there, so it's just confusing.
Yeah, and one of the things we've talked about coming into the U.S. game, and let's start to take a look at yesterday's games before we get into today's preview, is rust and how long the layoffs are for teams that are playing later in this round through. The layoffs become a little bit shorter, so maybe it changes how much they do rest guys. Or the other side is if you're a rotated player in the German national team, this is your shot to get minutes. And obviously, Nico Schlotterbach's been put out injured, so anyone who gets a start at center back, you're probably trying to debut to replace him. It's most likely Rudiger, but you never know. And I think there's a few situations like that across the tournament. One of the weird ones that will be on the line will be Group K, and that was set up by yesterday's results. So let's dig into what we saw yesterday here. Thank you guys for running through all of the imaginary scenarios with me there. I really appreciate it.
We only talked about it for 20 minutes.
I love group scenarios. You were? Oh, yeah, of course.
I was very negative.
Yeah, well, you're an Italian.
I'm very skeptical. Yeah, we've been victims in the past.
Yeah, you've been hurt before. I mean, you're
always the victim.
Such a victim. 4 World Cup victories. How many Euros?
2 or 3, I don't remember.
2 or 3, yeah. Oh, you can't remember. So many titles.
2, 3, such a victim. 7, whatever it is.
So in Group K, yesterday we all said Ronaldo can't play. Ronaldo shouldn't start. Ronaldo becomes the second oldest goal scorer in FIFA World Cup history. He becomes the first man in history to score at 6 different FIFA World Cup tournaments. So going all the way back to 2006, he has scored in every single World Cup. Portugal beats Uzbekistan 5-0. And Jordan, I think Ronaldo's probably going to play.
Yeah. We were talking about this a lot yesterday, and do you start him, do you not? The decision, it felt like the decision was made with the energy that this Portugal team came out with, because I think that they set the tone as like, hey, that wasn't good enough for us in the first game. And by starting Ronaldo, giving him that chance, it just felt like whenever you're playing a team who wants to slow the game down, sit a little bit more, not be as aggressive. And I mean, credit Uzbekistan. I thought they were pretty aggressive in this game and tried to get after Portugal. This Portuguese team just set the tone, and they did that by getting in behind quickly in transition moments and utilizing Ronaldo inside the box. Not only was his first goal, I mean, that's a hard goal to score. Going almost beyond the front post to bend it into the near post like that. It is such the epitome of Cristiano Ronaldo and how many different things he can do. But I think we see a glimpse at this team by the set piece.
Yeah.
By him not taking the set piece.
That's the thing everyone's asked for. Do the selfless thing.
Yeah. And Mendes takes it, and it is brilliant. In all accounts, because he is going to create so much gravity towards him, and they're going to say, oh, Ronaldo is going to take this, and they switch it up. And it does feel like this is a kind of unifying win that can really help a team.
Yeah, so I'm going to piggyback on what Matt was saying yesterday. For Portugal, they were on the same boat as Spain. It's a weak rival. It's an opportunity to win, score goals, regain confidence. Now, benching Ronaldo, that's never going to happen. And we spoke about this. I spoke with one of my best friends, he's Portuguese, and he said, that's never going to happen because between first game and the game yesterday, all the talk in Portugal and here, us, was what's going to happen with Ronaldo. And he said, imagine benching Ronaldo, that distraction is going to implode this team. This team is going to go nothing. So they have to die with Ronaldo on the field. And the options like Gonzalo Ramos, the other options are not good. Now, we're still not sure what's the ceiling of this team. I still believe that they have the best midfielder in the world as in Vitinha and the best midfield overall. So on the macro and the ceiling, I'm still not sure. But yesterday there were some micro stuff that I think they can affect the macro for better and a deep run on this tournament. For example, leaving Bernardo Silva on the bench and putting a guy like Joao Felix, that it's more dynamic. He's a true winger, 1v1, and Cristiano Ronaldo can depend more on him to fill that space, to give him more assists, to be more vertical, more dynamic than another player on midfield, right? Because I think Bernardo Silva and Bruno Fernandes somehow are the same player but different at the same time. But it's a lot of conglomeration in the in midfield, right? Yeah. With Bernardo Silva. Now with a true winger like Joao Felix, or when Sergio Conceição came in on the first game in the second half, you saw a difference. So if this team is gonna be solid at midfield with Vitinha, with Bruno Fernandes creating in the middle, and you have those options on the wing with Joao Felix, with Rafa Leao when he came in, with Sergio Conceição, and you're just gonna feed Cristiano in the box, then he's gonna find spaces, he's gonna find goals, and this team is gonna find results. Now, leaving a player like Bernardo Silva on the bench takes
you have
courage,
to leave someone
but you got to leave someone in the bench because it's, and I'm going to talk about this with England again, it's not an all-star team. You got to have a team that functions, and you got to make tough decisions. So sadly, Bernardo Silva, that has just been announced as a new Real Madrid player, he's going to be the one sacrificed moving forward.
They are going to, you mentioned, this was a get-right win. They're going to be tested now. They'll face Colombia in the final game of the group stage. Colombia faced off with DR Congo down in Guadalajara. It is, to me, pretty standard now. Every Colombia game is going to be the best atmosphere we're going to see at the World Cup. I've talked about it for a while. Maybe with Iran. Egypt's going to be.
What are the hats that they wear? Because they're awesome. I need one of those hats.
I guess they're Panama hats, technically. I'm not sure what they call them, but that's which I think were actually invented in Ecuador and are made in Ecuador.
They're called Panama hats, yeah.
Yeah, but they're from Ecuador originally.
Well, that's confusing.
Yeah. Well, no, just go with it. It's all Gran Colombia originally for Simon Bolivar.
Do you think that Miami's just gonna
implode?
Drown?
Yeah, it's gonna absolutely
with
implode.
Colombia, Portugal.
Well, it's Portugal. It's Brazil, Scotland today in Miami.
Yeah.
Then it moves to Portugal versus Colombia.
So all the alcohol is gonna be done.
So I guess
after
we'll
Brazil
start.
and Scotland.
I mean, Scotland. I assume they're all staying on Miami Beach. unfortunately, I know this map really well in my head. Then you've got the Brazil fans. They're probably scattered. And then Doral will just unload into Miami Gardens of all the Colombia fans. Colombia finishes with a 1-0 win over DR Congo, of course, battled out to the draw. And here's a fun fact. So Daniel Munoz scores the only goal of the game, starting right back. It's his second goal in 2 straight games for this World Cup. He is the 5th defender to score in his first 2 World Cup matches in the entire history of the tournament. Now, this is a little bit of a loose stat because, like, positions, whatever. But the last defender to do it was in 2018. It was Jerry Mina of Colombia. Before that, it was like the 90s.
Center back.
So the last 2 of 5 to do it, 2 of them have been Colombians, and they've been in this modern generation of teams. And Mina scored He scored the header against England to equalize and qualify them for the knockout rounds. And Munoz gets the goal in the 75th minute in this one. Luis Diaz put the ball in the back of the net 2 minutes later. He chips the keeper. He gets called for a foul. And I think the call came down saying, if you let this goal stand, this building will crumble, because it was shaking. You could feel it on TV. And Diaz comes through and the ball's bouncing and he goes to chip it, and it just felt like this building is going to explode. And they eventually called it back. They end up holding on for a 1-0 win. I thought DR Congo was better in the second half than the first half. They were very similar to the Portugal game. They sat in. I thought Wan-Bissaka got better as the game went along. And there was a few half chances there. A header back across goal rather than on frame, blocked shots. But in general, I think it's been a really strong start for Colombia.
I thought it was a brilliant first half from Colombia, even though they didn't score.
First quarter. I think their quarter was the best. First 25
Jordan's
minutes.
on the hydration break there.
First 25 minutes, Colombia should have had three goals.
My reaction wasn't about that. It's just like when I hear quarters in soccer.
Yeah, I know.
Like,
but it did feel like the second quarter didn't feel as good from Colombia.
Yeah, I agree. The first 25 minutes were fantastic.
Yes.
We can already put Daniel Munoz as a right back, best 11 of the tournament, done, put it in Sharpie. What I like about this Colombian team, and we spoke about this after the first game, if they are not James dependent, which is the first time that has happened since 2014 or even before.
Yeah, probably.
They have Juan Fernando Quintero came off the bench for James.
Juanfer. If anyone doesn't know, Juanfer Quintero, one of the great loves of my soccer life and many Colombian fans, part of his enchantment as a guy who loves the ball is his refusal to get in shape. He does it for all of us, the thick boys in the world. Juanfer Quintero is our hero. We thank you for what you have done. We pray for your continuation, and that is why he's one of my favorite. I have his jersey.
Good.
Yeah.
Me as a River Plate sympathizer, I know well Juanfer Quintero. And it's funny because when do you remember Cardona?
Yeah, 100%. He was the first.
Okay.
He was the first thick Colombian number 10 who, if he got in shape, would play for Barca and was like, I'll just play in Liga next and in Argentina.
These are things I didn't think we were going to talk about today, but I love it.
If you speak...
We love all bodies here.
So this is what being a professional athlete and having that discipline, makes a difference, right? And I'm not discovering warm water here. But... if you talk with Colombian people, especially older Colombian people, they will swear that both Cardona and Juanfer Quintero on the youth level were better than James. Yeah. But they didn't follow through. Yeah. But anyways, going back to, if Colombia has a Juanfer Quintero that is engaged, they have Cucho coming off the bench too. Mm-hmm. One of my most players that I want to like recognize the most on this team is Jefferson Lerma, and he wasn't very much available for Colombia in the past in Copa America, and so they had to remember to depend on Richard Rios, who's a player that runs a lot, covers a lot of space, scrappy, but he's not a presence. Like when you're talking about Jefferson Lerma in the middle,
you feel him.
You feel him, exactly. It's like it's Tyler Adams on the U.S. Yeah. It's like an Edson Alvarez or Eric Lier in this case in Mexico. It makes a difference, and you have Cucho coming from the bench. You don't depend from James. You have Duran. Luis Diaz didn't have a good game, but you felt his presence. If this Colombian team, like yesterday, can be solid on defense, this is a team that can reach the semifinal. Yeah. I truly believe it.
I thought you speak about their defense, but I thought this was one of the most exciting games, especially in the first I would say 25 minutes of both halves is their interchange in their play in the channels. It is either a midfielder stretching the back line and a player off the front line coming into that space that they created. So they were really softening the back line, creating space for one another. The movement off the ball was, I think, the best I've seen in these types of games where we have seen one team try to really clog it up and slow it down, and another team get caught in that. This Colombia team was like, no. We're not getting caught in it. Mm-mm. We're dictating the tempo at which this game is being played, and it all was off the ball. It was all off the ball. They had third man runs in the channels. The 3-man game that they had going on with up back and through, stretching the back line. I was like, this is so fun. Can all the games be like this? This is so fun to watch.
I think, I do think the atmosphere helps.
Yeah,
the fact that
course.
The fans, but the other piece
they know that, and so they have to
play to it.
Yeah.
The other piece, though, is to me, Daniel Munoz is the defender who has scored because everything you talked about stretches a defense to its limit.
Yes,
and
then he's like,
Munoz reads it and says, when I add, no one can come with me.
Yes.
Because you see the goal. So one, it's Juan Fer's touch under pressure that has sucked in 2 defenders centrally. It's one of his first touches in the game. Then it's Cordoba spins his man, doesn't actually touch the ball.
No, I know that
spins
was
his
good.
man. But because the defenders come inside to help with Cordoba, Munoz knows when I make this run, I'll be open. And so he comes interior, he comes inside, and that's those moments where he's the extra player. And I think he's read it to perfection so far in this tournament. I think at some points, now as people start to adjust to it, that should open up more space for a James or a Diaz to be one-on-one.
Because they're worried about what's going on in the
And
channel.
that can only help their game get to another level. But the fact that, like you guys talked about, they have option Bs and option Cs to get through these first 2 games where England and Portugal didn't have that, and they're sitting on ties, and Colombia's sitting on a win. That's great. The question for Colombia coming into this tournament, for me, was can option A work against Team A? And that was the 2024 Copa America, where they were great against Argentina, where they were good, they weren't great. They couldn't beat them. They haven't beaten the big powers of the world on the biggest stage, not in qualifying, pretty much ever as a country. And that's where Colombia sits in a similar spot to a U.S. and Mexico, where it's like, here's your opportunity. And this is going to be as good a chance as they're going to get.
We'll know soon.
Yeah, and it's going to be a huge chance. So
Portugal.
for them, just to close this out, the whole conversation we had. So Colombia will face Portugal in Miami. They're 6 points, 4 points. Colombia has already clinched their spot, but they've not clinched first place. So for Portugal, if they were to tie, Portugal would solidify their spot in second place, but they would not have a chance, obviously, to jump Colombia. And I think, if I had done this properly before,
Who they would play?
Yeah, exactly. They're in Group K, I believe. So Group K runner-up would play the runner-up of Group L. Group L is the other one we're going to talk about. So it would be either Croatia, Ghana, or England.
Yeah.
So you don't put
Ghana
yourself
right
in
now.
the easiest position in that scenario. And then if you got through that game, you'd face the winner of Group H, which would be Spain, who you have talked about. And I think most teams would like to avoid Portugal, Spain, and a round of 16 would be a pretty wild one. So there's value in first place there, and I think that's what these 2 teams are going to come out and play for.
I know you had to make it work somehow with 48 teams, but this bracket and draw benefited so much Mexico, the US, and Canada. It's
insane.
It's crazy.
It's insane. And
Yeah,
reminder,
it's not just one, it's all 3.
All 3.
now reminder to everyone, the bracket was set so that Spain, France, England, and Argentina, as the 4 seeded teams, would avoid each other
Until semifinal.
But let's take a look at Group L here, because some teams, you have to win first place in your group to make that happen. And England now potentially sitting in a spot where they might not. England in first place, Ghana in second place. Ghana has probably clinched their spot in the next round. They're sitting on 4 points. That's the worst they could finish. It feels pretty hard to find a scenario in which they don't go through at that spot. And if they're able to get a draw or a win against Croatia, they would at least finish second place, if not first. And yesterday, they hung on for a 0-0 draw against England. That one was up in Foxborough, so England taking their second L in the Bunker Hill area in the last 250 years. And we got to start here. For our guy, Eric Krakauer, who will be joining us later this week, Carlos Queiroz going black T-shirt, gold chain inside of like a cliche. It was like OG level vibes.
Wow.
And then he starts a fight going into halftime with an English player. Post game, he's like, who wants some? Like, oh, you guys were going to talk smack and now you want to come? He's coached this team for 4 months. It's his 4th World Cup in the last 20 years, coaching Iran and Ghana. This guy's the original gangster. Like, this is who Carlos Queiroz is. And it was awesome to watch once again.
Yeah.
Do
you want to start with England? No.
No, I thought
OG takes?
No, I was
think
like,
I
Unk status for Carlos
yeah.
What
shoes was he wearing? All blacks?
I don't even know.
Yeah.
I'm not going to mention who said this, but I've heard that from this person that they refer to Carlos Queiroz as soccer terrorist.
Nice. Yeah,
all his teams are, you want to throw a shoe to the TV. But it works. It works.
Yeah.
Listen.
Well, go ahead. Listen what. You tell us.
He got hired 5 months ago.
Yeah.
Wait.
Well, clearly for a reason.
Mm-hmm. But are we talking about are we going to talk about the true star of this game?
What, the referee?
The witch?
The witch doctor?
Oh.
Yeah, we can talk about it.
Okay. I'm just asking.
You can talk about it.
Yeah.
I am not going to talk about it.
You don't believe in witchcraft?
I don't like talking
No,
about that.
because our friend and colleague Matt Doyle sent this now, a quote from the witch doctor. Says, I am the most powerful spiritualist in the world, and now I'm going to release Harry Kane so that he can score in England's next match.
So here's the thing, whether he was cursed or not. Harry Kane had 19 touches in 90 minutes in this game. It's his least ever in a 90-minute major tournament match for England. And all the complaints are, he's going to drop deep and try and create. He wasn't on the ball at all, and he had one good chance, the half volley that fell to him. I think there was 2 moments where England sort of passed through a chance that there was an opportunity to shoot. They didn't. They kept moving the ball. Otherwise, though, they were not dangerous in this game.
No. I felt like England played scared in this game to play through the middle of the field. And the times they did play through the middle of the field and they were brave to play into those spaces that Ghana was not wanting them to play into, even if they didn't complete that pass, there were so many numbers there that they could repress and regain the ball higher up on the field. And then it was quick combinations. And I'm not saying they would then get a shot on target because there weren't very many of those in this game, but they at least had an opportunity. And if they were more brave in those situations, but they were nervous because if they gave that ball away going through the middle of the field, it was Ghana going the opposite direction. And I don't think they felt comfortable in those situations. It was all perimeter to me. And I was like, this is enough. I think I was yelling, like, you need to change the wingers.
Yeah.
You need to change. Somebody needs to try to do something. And I thought Saka did a better job when he came on. And that substitute should have happened way earlier. I think it was too late of a substitution there. And then by then, you get one chance. They got one chance where Harry Kane skies it over the net.
Doctor?
There's one of those accounts that does drawings of players in games, like hand drawings.
Yeah.
And it said Harry Kane, and it was a picture of the ball 10 feet above the net and no player in the picture.
Lisa Carlin was like, now when I miss a sitter in my soccer league, I'm just going to say Kane!
Yeah.
England is back, baby. England is back. The boring, flat,
Nice.
terrible Tuchel approach is back. We got thrilled when what we watched on the second half against Croatia. I completely agree with you. Madueke and Gordon were absolutely terrible. I don't understand how Saka is not a starter on this team.
Gordon was worse for me.
And I'm gonna say something because I was one of the ones. I might have to start eating some crow here. I defended Tuchel when he made his squad selections and not calling Phil Foden or Cole Palmer. Yesterday, you could have used them.
So
they had no answer to the Ghana's low block. Zero answer.
Yeah.
So that's when maybe bringing from the bench a player like that could have
So here's
changed
the
things.
question. They're on 4 points, right? They'll qualify for the next round. They played well against Croatia, who opened up and played against them because they're a big team. I think the question this all falls into is, will this actually be the effect of the World Cup, right? How often will they play a team that does this in the knockouts?
Yeah, probably
And so
not.
then that becomes less of the problem. And now it goes to, well, this is why you brought that group, because they'll be more effective against the Argentinas of the world, the Portugals of the world, the Spains of the world. This is sort of their worst case scenario. I assume Saka, and there's been some time, I assume they're working his minutes in, which is odd because he started the Champions League final. So he is not coming off the injury right now, but it seems like they're trying to manage his minutes.
Do you trust that this England team will be defensively solid against Argentina, against Spain, against France.
Well, I think that's
I don't
part
even
of
know
why.
if they'll get past this for like right now in the bracket. Cape Verde is who they would play.
Yeah.
This is a game that they just played.
For sure.
And
Yeah,
then it's
they
round of 16 bye against Mexico and Azteca. So what are we talking about?
Yeah,
You're
but
talking
if they
already
play
about
Mexico in the Aztec, well, I guess it will be a low block. You're right. No, I think that's where Elliot Anderson and Declan Rice are in this team is like, can you defend? Can you hold the space? I thought Morgan Rogers should have come on earlier. I'm a little surprised. He seems like the one guy who should be able to pick a lock. Or bring on Tony, go 2 up top if you can't figure out a way to break it down, and just start bashing crosses in and see what happens. He is still Harry Kane. He is still a presence
the
in
best
the box.
striker in the world.
And if you bring a second forward in, can he find spots?
Yeah.
And that's where I think it was frustrating for a lot of fans that it's like, okay, Tuchel, this is the roster you picked. Trust the roster. Like, what was the point of picking them if you're not going to put enough of these guys on the field to play?
Yeah, they will be better against better teams, but my excitement from the first game, it went down.
Yeah.
Exponentially.
I think it's just
yesterday.
hard. I think it was game stakes. And if Ghana would have opened up at all in this game, gets back and forth, I think England gets a chance.
I mean,
like more chances, but it was so condensed and that's the hardest thing to break down.
Yes. And
so I get what you're saying, but I'm like, ugh.
There was a penalty kick claim. I don't think we have to dig too far into it. I thought it should have been a penalty. Either way, either Ghana wins if they score it or they
For
tie.
Ghana.
Yeah. It should have been a penalty to me. And there's been a couple plays like that where I mean, everything is checked. So VAR is there. It feels like they could step in a little more. I'm not going to complain about letting the referee call the game on the field, except I don't know if you were there. We sat in the room with Howard Webb when he brought VAR in for the first time and explained it. And he was like, referees won't change the way they referee the game. And then VAR is a backup. And then pretty quickly it became leave your flag down, let the goal get scored because we can review it back. So if you're not going to have VAR be active, which is okay, you need to talk to your referees that they need to readjust to call the play as you see it. Yeah. Don't call the play to allow the review because that's what they're doing right now in many of these scenarios.
I just struggle to think if that were Ronaldo, if that were Messi, if that would
100%.
That's a pen. They're going to call a pen for that. So that's the part for me where it shouldn't. He took the player out before the ball was played.
It was a PK and a red card. Period.
You don't think Prince Adu of Victoria Pilsen's getting the same call quality as Leo Messi?
Well,
and,
with a name like that, he should.
He should. Yeah, he should. Royalty.
No, I agree with you. Clearly, in this World Cup, VAR has been allowing the referees to referee their game and make their decisions. We've been mostly using VAR for offside calls and yellows and what happened with the
dive,
with the dive, et cetera, et cetera. But I agree that yesterday the referee thought,
if I don't call
maybe
this,
I didn't see this well. I'm gonna wait for VAR, and VAR never came.
Yeah,
and that's the frustration for me. Ghana, I think, have been good for like 7 minutes this World Cup, and they're going through to the next round because they stole 3 points off my beloved Panama, who then remained in Toronto. Crowd was electric. Shout out to Los Canaleros fans and then Croatian fans.
Just like the light during the day in that
good
stadium,
vibes
it
right
looks
on the
really
lake.
nice.
Yeah, good vibes
really
right on the
nice.
lake up at BMO. Croatia, obviously, huge community in the Toronto area. The Croatian community is one of the ones that I think has helped grow the game in the area. The Croatian sports clubs are some of the best amateur teams and youth clubs. So it was really cool to see them get to represent their team and get to support their team in person. Luka Modric's 200th cap in this game, and Croatia takes a 1-0 victory. They score the goal early in the second half, but Panama just banged on the door as much as they possibly could, and it's just heartbreaking for this team. And we talked about it, missing their best player yesterday.
Yeah, Coco Carrasquilla that came to the World Cup injured, and they were just trying to make a miracle
like in
out
that
of
moment.
it. And Aníbal Godoy also didn't see the field. I feel bad because we have friends. I have friends in Panama, and this is their second World Cup. It's their fifth game, and it's the fifth loss.
Yeah.
And yesterday you could feel it that the first half, Croatia was a mess. They were terrible, slow, sloppy, missing. I don't think I counted 2 or 3 passes in a row from Croatia in the first half. Luka Modric, it's one of my favorite players of all time. it hurts me to see him this way. He clearly doesn't have it anymore at this level. Panama was fast. Martinez and Fajardo on the right side gave one of the best defenders on the planet, Guardiol, nightmares. Yeah. I don't know how Panama didn't score on the first half. It was heartbreaking. It was so bad that they took Guardiol out at halftime.
Which ended up being the masterstroke. It got adding the Kamaric up top. I think his movement.
Yeah, moving Perisic as a left back, so they have more options.
And
up top.
It probably creates the goal for them, even though it comes down the right side.
And then after the goal, I don't think Croatia was brilliant. They just tried to just survive, and Panama kept going. And sadly, Panama doesn't have that top-end talent, that top talent of a striker that can find space or just one play and put it in. I thought they played brilliantly, but sadly it wasn't enough.
Blas Perez is not walking through that door.
Blas Perez.
No.
Great guy, Blas.
I know. Legend.
He was a teammate of mine at Univision Tudene. Oh my God, when we went to qualifiers, USMNT played in Panama, the best host that you can imagine.
Shout out to Roman Torres, Felipe Beloy, Jaime Pinedo, and the whole squad. Los Canaleros, one of the emerging squads in CONCACAF. Thomas Christensen, I've talked about.
Great coach.
Also, you saw after the game, in the dress shoes, pops that ball up, quick volley.
Is this who you were talking to the camera about yesterday?
Yes.
Listen up,
kept getting shown because not only can he play, but he can coach as well. And I think he's got a really high future. Joe Larry put on Blue Sky saying U.S. should be looking at him, which I totally agree with. I'd be surprised if it happened. I don't think that's how, unfortunately, the U.S. Soccer Federation operates, which is fine because I think he has a really bright future with some other teams. If I was a club team as well, I would be talking to him. I mean, he's done some really impressive stuff. Okay, so that takes us through where we stand coming out of the second round of games through the group stage. As we talked about at the top, we will lock 6 teams today into the knockout rounds of the World Cup. We will eliminate 3 teams for sure, and we will potentially eliminate more than that depending on how some of these games end and then what's possible. So the day starts at 3 p.m. Eastern time out in the Pacific Northwest with Switzerland against Canada at BC Place, and then Bosnia-Herzegovina playing against Qatar. It then moves to the East Coast. We go down south with Scotland against Brazil and Miami, and Morocco against Haiti, and then the night finishes out in Mexico, which I find this hilarious. Every game in Mexico is the late game, even though it's not Pacific time, and I think it's just straight up people in Mexico are down to stay up late and hang out and party.
Well, they don't start their days until much later,
Absolutely.
So that's like a midday game
for them. You're like sneaking out of dinner to get to these 10 p.m. local time games.
In Mexico?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I have a story about me living in Mexico, but... Oh, we're against the clock.
We are against the clock.
We have 6 games to talk.
There's a lot to talk about. So we're gonna do this group by group. We'll start with Group B because those are the first games of the day. As you take a look, if you're watching a little bit closer, so Canada, because of the domination against Qatar, they sit in first place on 4 points, tied with Switzerland. They face off head to head today. They, with the +6 goal differential, with a draw, would win the group. Bosnia and Qatar face off each on 1 point. A draw probably does nothing for both those teams. On 2 points, you're probably out of the World Cup. At best, you are praying and hoping and watching the rest of the teams. A win for either of those teams on 4 points is probably enough. For Qatar, obviously, it's a little tougher because of the goal differential and where things stand. We're going to dig into all these games as we go forward. But first, let's talk Canada versus Switzerland. And to do so, we are very excited to talk about some of the young players on this team. Let's talk about our Football Manager Level Up Players to Watch. Football Manager 26 International Mode is available now. And we start on the Canada side with one of the best young performers so far and important ones, Luke de Fougerols, who has stepped up big for this Canadian team.
Yeah, one of the question marks for Canada at this World Cup was the health of Moin Bombito, their best center back. Clearly, Bombito wasn't ready to step up to the field in the first 2 games from the start, and this kid has stepped up big time to play for Bombito, and he's been one of the revelations of this World Cup.
He made his pro debut after he made his Canadian international debut. He's been in the Fulham Academy, raised for the most part in England, obviously convinced to come represent Canada through his family, has been on loan this year in Belgium, playing for Dender H. There's the letter E-H in there. I don't know what that
Better
stands
than
for.
I could have said it.
I don't know that he'll play for Fulham next year, but after the way he's performed through 2 World Cup games, I'd be shocked if it was not a much bigger team.
Isn't this one of the best things about the World Cup is when you
Absolutely.
see these young players and we already know Moise Bombito is a star, and that's my guy from the Rapids. When he was with the Rapids, he is one of the best guys.
Who also emerged out of nowhere.
Yes, one of the best guys you could ever meet. And I was hopeful that this was going to be a World Cup where he was he was a star because he is a star. But this is what you want. And this is showing the depth of these types of teams like a Canada who continues to get better year after year. And you want a player like this to step up and say, all right, I'm ready for my moment and I'm ready to go help and support my country as best as I can. And it's cool to see what can come next for him. And still could have a very big role in this with the way that he's playing.
So Moise Bombito came back in the last game. Derek Cornelius played 45 minutes as well because of the blowout. If they're the 2 starters, with Alphonso Davies' injury, there's also a chance that Luke DeFugaru could play left back for this team, or they could end up with, quote-unquote, 3 in the back and then sort of play more with wing backs, whether it's Tejan, Ali Ahmed, whoever it is. So I think he still has a huge place to play. Also, as you work Bombito back from injury, a game like this might be one where let's split 45 minutes between the 2 of them. For Canada, you want to get a win, but it's not the most necessary. Also, I think you have a lot of confidence in a guy like DeFugaru to get you through these matches because of what he's done over the first 2 games. So one of the best young players in the world. But lucky for us, we might get 2 of them. So let's go into our level up once again, presented by Football Manager 26.
2 for 1.
Discovering the future stars of the sport is one of our favorite things about FM and about the World Cup. And let's talk about John Manzambi, who has come off the bench in both games for Switzerland. He had 2 assists off the bench in the previous match against Bosnia. He is a 20-year-old. He has played as a defensive midfielder, an attacking midfielder, out wide, currently at Freiburg. He has been one of the best young players at this tournament, and I don't understand a way that Yakin leaves him on the bench. When a guy is that big a factor twice for you off the bench in games where you struggled to start, you got to give him the opportunity.
Some reports are saying that he's going to start
Has to.
today.
Yeah.
Is that coming from you or who's reporting?
The internet. If it's on the internet, you got to believe it, Jordan.
Of course. You know that this is a good...
I'm looking at the possible lineups and he's in there.
I just love that this is one of the young players because this is often a position that is not, it's if you're playing it well, you're often not seen. But because he's playing it that much better than the player that is starting, he is recognizable and he's getting this kind of shout. So I hope those reports are right.
And
Michele.
Yeah.
And I think you see,
Right
I think you
It's
see
on the internet.
The excitement for Manzambi in that as a player who can cover ground defensively, he also adds to the attack and has been a big piece of this team and has a huge opportunity to make a difference. So, Football Manager International Mode is available now. Download it on Steam or your favorite console, PlayStation, Xbox, or Nintendo Switch. Take advantage of the current sale. You could save 50% through July 9th. If you are following us on social media, Tommy Scoops is out in California following the U.S. team around, building his own save with Charlton. You could also play as an international team. So if you want to be better than Tom, which many people do, few are, but some are, you can go to any of those platforms. You can buy the game right now for 50% off.
Good.
Let's talk Canada, Switzerland. Otherwise, or you got anything else?
So this game, and I ask you, our biggest Canada sympathizer, obviously it has ramifications of who advances first and second on the group, which means your rival on the last 32.
Yeah.
As it stands right now, Canada will be playing Belgium because Belgium is second in the group right now, but that might change. And Switzerland might play, as it stands right now, South Korea. Also, what would change is which side of the bracket you're on.
Yep.
If you are second of the group, you are going to the side of France. So you will be meeting France on the round of 16 or quarterfinals.
Yeah, quarterfinals.
If you're on the other side, is the Argentina side. So do you care about their
If
rivals?
I'm Canada, I want to win the game. If
Okay.
I win the game, I stay in Canada one more game. If I lose, I go to LA. I don't want to deal.
Who do you want, France or Argentina? Like,
yeah, it doesn't
cool.
matter. That's too
I'll
far
take
away.
Either. If I can play
That's
either
way too far
of them,
away.
I'll take
No,
either.
but I'm just
won
saying,
around 32.
I'm saying I want to clinch a spot to play at BC Place. I want my crowd. I want my atmosphere. I want my base camp. And I want to make history. Everything, and this is sort of what we've talked about the U.S. stuff as well, everything about this is winning fans over, winning hearts over. Everything so far has been the highest viewed Canadian games of all time. You want to keep rolling that along. And this, by the way,
Give me the chills.
as much as I knock Switzerland, because Switzerland are my least favorite national team on the planet, and they've lived up to that so far in this World Cup.
So neutral.
Yeah, exactly. Neutrality is boring. Get an opinion, Switzerland. It's fake. This would be considered a big win. It's a UEFA team. It's a team that's been to a Nations League semifinal. It's a team that's been to a Euros quarterfinal over the last 5 to 10 years. It's a team that's in every World Cup. It's a team with players that the average soccer fan in Canada knows. And I think it's a team with a level of respect. And so this would be a huge moment for Canada to get a victory in this game and to do it in front of your crowd. And that, to me, is why you start everyone. You go for the win.
Oh, yeah. This Canada team, too, is feeling... I would say we talked about how united they are yesterday, but I also think that this group, it has to feel confident with David and Larin both scoring goals and being on multiple goals already in this tournament.
Yeah.
Like when you have those two types of goal scorers and they both can be a threat and they both can impose themselves on a back line, you're feeling like we're at home. We're going to go after this game. We're going to be the protagonists. And I feel good about this for Canada.
Yeah. What do you expect from Alphonso Davies?
I would say if you can get him
If
minutes.
he plays.
Yeah, if you can get him minutes,
Yeah.
you do it today. Like you play him the final 15 today if he's genuinely fit
Is that
to
what he
do
has? 15, you think?
I have no idea. I mean,
you just
he
keep
hasn't
it
played
safe.
in 3 months.
Yeah,
but I
yeah.
get him on a field in a live game so he can feel it, so he can get sort of some of the emotion out of him, and also he can like get a little bit of
And the
pace
crowd
of
can
the
cheer
game.
him, and he can get all
I don't
those
want to do any
moments.
of that in a knockout game
Yeah.
for the first time. So I get all of that out of the way here, if possible. Steve Nash has sent a message of support
Go
to the
Broncos.
team.
Sorry.
Steve
What?
Nash?
This is Santa Clara Bronco.
Oh, because
A
of
what?
Denver Broncos. I was like, okay.
Oh,
No,
I
we
get
went
it.
to, we both went to Santa Clara.
I get
I
it.
was confused too.
I get it. You're from Denver. It's not always relevant to the situation.
Just
go-
try to bring it up whenever I can.
Go Santa Clara Broncos. And then Switzerland was asked.
That's right.
Well, have you had any
Wilson.
celebrities reach out? And they said that they met up with the Swiss national hockey team on the way out of Europe because they're also playing in a juniors world championship. So
That feels
same level.
level up.
Same level
Yeah,
on
they
those
leveled
two
them up.
things.
No.
I just want to give this one time. We're not going to do this for every group, but just to get an idea of how bad things could get or how confusing things could get.
Yeah.
Chaos scenario in this group, and there's one of these pretty much for all of them, is if Canada lose to Switzerland, Bosnia and Herzegovina beat Qatar, Canada finish above Bosnia and Herzegovina on overall goal differential. If it is equal, the overall number of goals scored, or if that is equal, you go to fair play rankings. If fair play rankings is equal, Canada's ahead of Bosnia and Herzegovina in the Coca-Cola World Rankings, so would finish above them.
Wow, that's even sponsored, the World Rankings.
Yeah. So we could all be drinking a Coke
We
at the
need
end
one
of
of
this.
those. We need to make a graphic that has all the scenarios and moves.
Just keep moving them around.
Yeah, just like moves.
If this happens, Steve
Yeah.
Kornacki, then this happens.
I won't put that on you guys out there. Don't worry.
Douglas will
You're
build it
welcome.
for us.
Yeah, and
So-
the third place in this group, it's gonna be most likely the rival US-17.
Yeah,
round
the way
32.
things have worked out. For Bosnia and Herzegovina, they've had injuries. It was obviously a terrible finish against Switzerland after what was overall a solid 120 minutes, 155 minutes at the World Cup. This is going to be their first game where they are required to be the protagonists. They will be on the front foot. They will have their opportunities. For all of what Qatar was able to survive through against Switzerland, I think we have seen they are one of the 4 or 5 worst teams at this tournament. And if you're Bosnia and Herzegovina, you're never going to get a better shot at going to the knockout rounds of the World Cup than you do in this game. So that'll close up Group B for us. That will be our first set of the day. We will then move to the 6 p.m. Eastern Time games, which will be Group C for us, which will be happening, as I said, here in the United States. Brazil and Morocco currently sitting on first place. Each of them, they drew together in the first game. They went and won their second games. Brazil, a bigger win over Haiti than Morocco's win over Scotland. And so Brazil moves to first place in the group right now on goal differential. Haiti, of course, eliminated because if they were to win today against Morocco, they would tie Scotland, who they've lost to head-to-head. So there's two things to decide here. Who's going to finish first and second? And then if Scotland can steal a result, they would put themselves in the driver's seat. Let's start here with Brazil, and a reminder that Rafinha is out of the lineup. He has a small tear on his right hamstring. Carlo Ancelotti is hopeful to get him back. His then report on Neymar is that Neymar, who is yet to play and has been out with an injury, is fully 90 minutes match fit, which I find very surprising to hear.
No chance.
Do you think Neymar starts in this game?
No
you
chance.
Think, so then what do you think they do in the attack? You assume Mateus Cunha remains at center forward.
Yeah.
With Vinicius, do you think Ryan gets a chance?
Yes.
Do you think Endrick gets a chance? Okay.
I think have you followed the joke of Ancelotti and Endrick? All the jokes on the internet that the world can be crumbling, and if it's Endrick or Armageddon, Ancelotti's gonna choose Armageddon.
Yeah.
It's a joke in Brazil that he's not playing Endrick from the start, and Endrick is behind Vinicius, the most maybe talented player in the Brazil squad. I just want to see a good game from Brazil.
Yeah.
They've been so underwhelming, and we knew this coming to the World Cup, that Brazil, it was a dark horse in the sense of, and I've mentioned this before, if they get eliminated in round of 32 or they go and end up winning the tournament, I'll be like, sure. Like, I have no idea what to make of this. Yeah. Brazil, because Brazil is Brazil.
Yeah,
it's the best national team of all time. And even though on paper you see it's not the most, not even, probably the least talented overall Brazilian team of all time, you still expect that Brazil is going to wake up someday, some game, and show why they are Brazil. All the pressure today is on Vinicius. Because we've talked about how Vinicius and Rafinha does all the dirty work. Rafinha is the one that runs. Rafinha is the one that moves off the ball. Rafinha is the one that creates space. Now without Rafinha, Vinicius have to be more involved in the game plan, and more on the ball. And he's one of the top 5, top 10 players on the world. So show it.
Yeah. This is your stage to do that too. And
it's a game against an inferior rival that you have to win the group. What else do you have?
This might be the most vibey game out of all of them.
Just
like the differences of both of these fans, but how committed they are to their bit of this is the way that we party. Versus, to be in Miami for this one would be one of the best games.
I know some Scotland fans who are like, well, we don't have a flight back in case we're in the round of 32, which was, to me, a ton of confidence coming into this. If they could steal a point in this one, they'd pretty much ensure it.
Yeah.
They have, you want to talk about underwhelming so far, right? I think it was half XG in the last game, maybe 1 in the first game. They get the goal off the cross in that first game. Otherwise, I thought Haiti was the more dangerous team. If they were a little bit better. But this fits Scotland's game states a little more of what they've done. Now, in saying that, they played in the opener of the Euros against Germany, and they lost 5-0 in the last tournament. So fits their game states, but sometimes it doesn't work out. They're going to be up against it. And then on the flip side, for Morocco, they play a Haiti team with nothing to play for, but a Haiti team I think that is going to have massive support from home fans, because this is the first time they're moving south a little bit. There's obviously a huge community in Florida that I think will be coming up to watch this game. There's a pretty large community around Georgia as well. So I think this is going to be a huge game for Haiti. And for Morocco, you kind of are in a driver's seat where Haiti has nothing to play for, Scotland does. If you can go get 3 points on a good goal differential, you probably win this group.
Right.
So I think for Morocco, you're coming in
all gas,
full starters, everything to play for, and then you figure it out as the game goes along.
Yeah, I think for this Morocco team, too, with the group that they got in, they had a good test versus Brazil, but to get out as the group winners in this would give them the confidence they need. And this is such a solid group that you would think they have what it takes to push once they get into the knockouts. I'm just trying to look. So I think they would play as it stands right now.
The second place team will play either Netherlands or Japan. You assume one of those two teams wins that group. That is a brutal round of 32 games.
Which is also why you want to go get all the goals you can. Feel good about it, knowing that, okay, goals are going to come if we create the chances because we've just put them all away.
As it stands right now, and this has nothing to do with what we're talking about in groups and teams, Argentina faces Uruguay.
Yes.
So go inside, lock your doors. The world might end if Argentina and Uruguay play each other.
I didn't have you do this for Group B. So
Yeah.
Group B, by the way, I have Canada, Switzerland, Bosnia. I think Bosnia wins today. They finished on 4 points. I think they qualify.
Yeah.
Does anyone have anything different?
No.
Switzerland beats Canada today. Switzerland's Canada, Bosnia, and Bosnia
Yeah.
plays the US-17.
I'm
in the
glad
round
I
of
made
32.
Michele say that out loud
Yeah.
so that I can crush him
I'm
for
with
it.
you.
Yeah, when it goes the other way. This group, I have Brazil winning.
Excuse me for picking the best team.
Yeah. No, you'll learn. I have Brazil
Thank you.
winning. I have Brazil winning enough against Scotland that they finish 1st in the group. I have Morocco finishing 2nd. I think Scotland loses. They finish on 3rd point. 3 points with a negative goal differential. And my assumption is they are 8th or 9th in that table in 3rd place, but that's all a bit of a guess. Anyone have anything
what
different?
if they make 9th? That would
It would
just...
be- one team is going to sit there and watch TV for a week.
Yeah, and just
and
be
at
like-
the end realize that they're absolutely out. Does anyone have anything different?
No, Mexico.
All right,
good with
let's
that.
move to our final group of the night. Group A, coming back around 9 p.m. Eastern time. South Africa faces off against South Korea, and Czechia faces off against Mexico. As you see, Mexico has locked in first place because they have the head-to-head victory over South Korea, and even if they were to lose to Czechia, they could not catch them in first place. For South Korea, they still have some work to do against South Africa. Both Czechia and South Africa alive with a victory. They could still get second place in the group. And on 4 points, they probably put themselves in a driver's seat for at least one of the best third place teams. And this is our North American soccer segment presented by soccer.com. Visit soccer.com for the widest selection of U.S. national team and player jerseys, as well as Mexico, Canada, and everyone else, and free shipping on orders over $49, as Jordan is presenting for us over here. Beautifully done. And I'm wearing a soccer.com t-shirt because what better way to promote than just wear the thing that says the thing on it?
Yeah, you win.
I think I just a little bit overly direct, maybe too much. Mexico, as I said, have clinched first place in this group. For South Korea, with a winner draw against South Africa, they would finish runners up. So it's pretty straightforward for them. And I think overall, this is a South Korea team that has played well. Let's start with Mexico. What type of group do you think Javier Aguirre goes with today? How do you think he handles this game?
Well, there's a couple storylines, big storylines. Memo Ochoa, Javier Aguirre said yesterday on the press conference, Matchday -1. He didn't confirm it. He didn't deny it. He left the door open, but it's most likely that Memo Ochoa is going to play this game as a type of give him the honor of playing in the 6th World Cup.
Yeah.
He
In
hasn't
Mexico
played on all
City.
of them. The first 2, he was on the bench, so he didn't see action, but
Yeah.
he was on the squad or in this case for the 6th World Cup. Something that caught my attention is that the only Mexican player with a yellow, it's Brian Gutierrez. And Javier Aguirre said yesterday, Brian Gutierrez is not going to play because of the yellow. We're going to save him for the round of 32, which means Brian Gutierrez is going to start for Mexico
assume.
round 32.
Just seeing him out
that's
there,
what
just
Javier
like-
Aguirre just
Crazy.
said.
Yeah.
He said yesterday, I'm going to rest Brian Gutierrez because he's going to start on the next game. So taking out Memo Ochoa and Brian Gutierrez, Cesar Montes is expected to come back. I do not expect big rotation for
Interesting.
Mexico. I will guess that at least half the team, it's the normal starters, taking out Rangel in goal, maybe giving sometimes to Santi Jimenez up top, maybe giving... Gilberto Mora is going to start in arguably the best 17-year-old on the planet. Because Santi Jimenez, Gilberto Mora, Cesar Montes coming back, those are players that you're going to need, even coming from the bench on round of 32. So he's not going to do a total overhaul because he wants the main group to get minutes, stay sharp. But in the case of Santi Jimenez, Gilberto Mora, coming from the bench and be ready to the round of 32 and moving on.
This is the nice thing about knowing that you've already clinched is you have these scenarios, because when you go into a knockout stage, you have no idea what's going to happen. You don't but you need everybody to know what their role is and what they're capable of in these types of games, like playing in these high stakes environments. What if one of these players gets a red card and you have to bring someone in who has not played 1 minute?
Yeah.
You can get
an injury.
Or an injury in training. You can get these players minutes in these scenarios where it still is a game where if Mexico doesn't win this game at home in the Azteca, they're going to get booed off the field.
Exactly. I was exactly right. I was just going to say, make no mistake about it.
Yeah.
If Mexico doesn't
stakes
win
are still
this
high.
game, they're going to get booed.
Crazy.
The fans and the media are going to be on their behinds for the next game, the pressure is going to ramp up because nothing that has been done so far is good enough still.
No.
That's the pressure that Mexico lives in.
So,
is it ever good enough for them?
Never, ever.
So some of the other names I had, I think Mateo Chavez probably gets an opportunity because you get there's just so much running from Gallardo. I think you protect him and
Alexis Vega on the right
Chavez
side.
could have. I would love to see Alexis Vega because I think he deserves to play. I think he should be a full-time starter. Montez, we assume, comes in. Be interesting to see, is it Edson Alvarez alongside him? Do they go three in the back? Do they play Johan Vasquez so that him and Montez can play together and decide? You assume Obed Vargas steps into central midfield alongside Gilberto Mora, and then there's another spot there to sort of play with. And if Santi Jimenez starts for Raul Jimenez, there is still Julian Quinones, who, in my mind, I would protect. He's clearly in form. He's clearly playing well. I wouldn't overstretch him. I wouldn't risk an injury because I still think he is the X factor for this team. So I think there's probably another spot there to bring a starter in. So those are my guesses of the rotation. But as you guys said, still need to play well because there's still expectations that this team puts together a strong performance. And like I've talked about with what U.S. and Canada are doing, a chance to make history, a chance to grow the value of the perception of this team. And for them, they're in a golden spot because they already know they're going back to the Azteca. Like, they don't have to travel. They're in their Federation base camp. That's you've been there, one of the most gorgeous facilities in the world.
Oh, yeah.
One that they're super comfortable in. They know they don't have to leave for the round of 32. If they do their job, they wouldn't have to leave for the round of 16 as well. As of now, they would play Scotland as that third place team. At altitude would be a pretty tasty one for them.
After they're sunburnt
from
Miami.
But there's
From
no
Miami
way
to Mexico City is rough.
There's no way to tell
I
what
did
happened.
that rough.
Can you imagine if they played them in England and like those fans just rolled through Mexico City? I mean, Corona is making money off that stuff.
You're
And
allowed to say that. It's not
it
an
does
official
taste better
sponsor.
in Mexico.
Yeah.
I was told it. I didn't believe it. Then I had it, and it was true. On the other side,
Everything's better in Mexico, man.
on the other side. So one for Czechia, must win.
Yes.
If they win on 4 points, and this was sort of the controversy coming out of this round of games was, well, Mexico will have nothing to play for. Czechia is going to get an easy win. I don't think that's true because playing a Mexican B team at the Azteca is not easy to do. And this is a Czechia team that can't really carry the attack. Then on the flip side, South Korea on 3 points, South Africa on 1 point. I think South Africa have very clearly been a step below every other team in this group. You have talked about it many times. For some teams, if you score first, game states, it changes things. South Africa are in very, I was going to say incapable. They struggle to create in the attack. And so for them, they can like never fall behind because it puts them in a really bad spot. What do you make of what we're going to see over the course of the 2 games and sort of who comes out?
Well, that's the thing. If they open up and they try to go score and they're incapable of doing that in those situations that they create, Korea will punish them in the opposite direction with any kind of space. So it does feel like this is going to be a game where South Africa will try to mitigate any type of space that South Korea can have. But I just think this Korean team with the players that they have, they'll get 1 goal. And if that happens, I don't think South Africa has the ability to get back. And this Korean team, I just think we've said this about a lot of teams, but like expecting more from them. So can this be a game where they feel really good coming out of it with a result, get a couple of goals, get Son working up top?
Yeah. This would be the first time in the country's history that they got out of the knockout or the group stage in consecutive World Cups.
Wow.
So a team that went to a semifinal in 2002, which really came out of nowhere. And
That's when they hosted?
yes.
Fix.
And since then, they...
Was that in Italy? Do we have an Italy thing?
and Spain.
And Spain.
Wow.
Okay.
Of the world
So
has
bring it
conspired
up.
against 2 European powers. Woe is them.
You don't think that 2002 South Korea World Cup was fixed?
So South Korea
Against
since
Italy
then
and
has
Spain?
very much
Nothing is fixed in this sport.
I'm gonna
everything.
leave the set right
They've
now.
very much underwhelmed since then. So as you said, and I think the quality of soccer they've played in these first 2 games, some of the best we've seen at the World Cup from the South Korean national team since that 2002. So I think that's where Hung Young-min said, Hung Young-bo, said that the idea is to change 2 or 3 spots, which I think is partially cover. I think it's also partially like it hasn't been perfect. So there's probably spots where he feels like he can fill in. They had an injury, a huge injury at center back coming into the World Cup. So maybe he's still trying to find his replacements there as well.
I expect this group to be resolved fairly easy, with
Yeah.
Mexico and South Korea winning both games and Czech and South Africa both eliminated.
Yeah, I think so too. That's what I have it.
Taboho Mokeno, who got the red card in the first game for South Africa, it was a 2-game suspension, so he is still out for this game as well. I agree with you. So I have Mexico in first, which
Yeah.
they've already clinched, South Korea in second, and then Czechia in third. I'm going to say, I didn't feel this before, I'm going to say a Mexico-Czech Republic tie. So I think Czechia finishes on 2 points, and they probably end up not getting through to the next round. If you'd asked me 3 days ago, I was like, oh, Czechia is going to get 4 points. And then as you talked me through, I just don't see a scenario where Mexico lays down.
No.
And I haven't seen much chance creation from this Czechia team.
No, because there's another incentive for Mexico, and this is a point that was brought yesterday on the press conference. Mexico's never win their 3 games
been
at the
perfect
group
in the
stage.
group
Never
stage.
been. So
They've
this
never.
is
I mean, they're playing at home. I think they
Right.
win all of them.
Yeah.
I mean, it will be a chance to make history
Yeah,
and
exactly.
keep the momentum
Yeah.
building.
And then
And then
Patrick Schick and Czechia, they will come alongside us, and we will all sit here
And
we will
then?
watch for the next 5 days or 4
And
days,
then?
whatever it is, and we will watch the group stages play out.
And then?
And we will wait to see who is going through.
you don't know that reference?
Yeah.
No.
And then
No, I don't know.
no.
No.
Do you know
It's
it?
from something.
Dude,
A
where's my
movie.
car?
Yeah.
When they're when they're already in the,
Yes.
on the And then?
and the tattoos. We should get tattoos. We'll get matching back tattoos, and
Wow,
we can
I'm
talk
out
about
of
it.
that one, but great.
So congratulations to Coca-Cola for getting mentioned for free by us and by everyone else going forward. Jordan Bross, JB, not Jordan Angeli. If you get a chance, JB. We're going to throw up the full standings one more time before we get out of here, and this is everything that we have. So locked in: Mexico, the United States, Germany, Argentina, and we'll look at it in a second, but this is the top half of the table if you are watching. This is everything less to play for. Here's the second half, right? France and Norway in their group, which becomes an interesting game for first place. That will come up later this week. Senegal, Iraq will play for a chance to try and get into the knockout rounds. Argentina has locked in their spot, and Colombia, not in first place, have locked in their spot. So for Colombia, France, and Norway, they're locked, but they don't know what spot they will be in. Still everything to play for, but this is all of what we have on the table. We still don't know a ton because there were so many draws in the opening round of games. So many teams can finish on 4 points or 2 points, or second place teams that are in 3 points that could fall to third place. There isn't as many hard lines of, okay, not enough teams can get here and this is locked, which makes it fun. So we'll be back tomorrow at 9:30 a.m. Eastern time to do this all over again. We will dissect what we have seen. It will help us reset the tables and what it looks like. We'll get you prepped for the U.S. men's national team final group stage game as they look to do what Mexico looks to do and try and go perfect. We'll talk about what we saw from Canada as well. We will talk through all the other big group stages as they develop. And, of course, we'll get you ready going forward for the games to come. So thank you to you two for being here. Big shout out to JB with us today. Derek, we always miss you, though. We're excited to have you back at some point. Thank you to Katie and Douglas for emotional support inside the studio today. Ben Pagel, who off in the skies is still supporting us in every single way. And as always, no thank you to Connor for being here as well. And we'll talk to you all again very, very soon.